We'll start off by spinning around, and I do have to admit that this opening section was supposed to have more, let's say, artistic flair, but in reality it just presents as me walking around with a trolley. In one of my recent videos when I reviewed a battery, I was asked by one of the people in the comment section whether, in fact, I'm going to be running my channel now as simply a place to review things that are made in China. Now, in the manner that some of you are definitely used to me being, that is exactly what I'm going to do, but only for this episode. We can now look forward to the unboxing of all sorts of bits and bobs, which I suspect most of which was made and sourced in China. I'm going to start off pretty much in the same vein as the last time round, because of course it's very unlikely that I would run this video, particularly in this sort of format, if I was incredibly unhappy and unimpressed with what I found. So that's a big spoiler out the way before we even begin. But anyway, I'm sure most of you, or at least some of you, will be aware that in the Anglosphere, I think it's across the US, Canada, the UK certainly, and some other places, there is a retailer, a company called Temu. And they are growing larger and larger, and therefore of course harder to ignore in the online retail space. And so what I thought I would do was just see how it all works. I was a little bit confused to begin with. I haven't used them before, and so this was going to be very much a first experience for me. But I'm also really aware that there are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of items that I need to buy, small items a lot of the time. We're talking 10, 15, 20 pound items, which I have to use in my projects, whether they are Arctic projects or previous big projects like when I was working on Alan the Lifeboat. And I think most of us, if we are honest with ourselves, realise that no matter where you buy a lot of your stuff from, particularly items that are electrical, sort of small plastic devices, all sorts of different things, they are likely to have been originally sourced or made in China. And I know that although there can be a sort of a kickback against that sort of retail business model, it's a reality that most of us have got used to and have to live with. Not everything can be manufactured and sourced in the country that you happen to live in. It's just unrealistic, and the chance of people being able to actually buy things at a reasonable price is absolutely zero. Whether you feel that that should continue long term is a discussion for another time. But what I'm going to try and do now is take you through a very large number of items that I've had sourced from Temu. And you're probably also not going to be surprised that there is an offer. There are a couple of links in the description and also some instructions about how to, first of all, download their app. And as a new user, there are some offers there for you, which is very exciting. There is also going to be a code that's specific to me and you watching this video, which will give you access to the items, and there are dozens of them that I've had sourced on this particular delivery. And you'll be able to get them, I think the majority, for less than £1. So it's quite a good introductory offer. And there is also a £100 coupon offer. So if you look in the description, there'll be the details regarding that. You just have to click the links and it should be fairly self-explanatory, I hope. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a bag and a box of things that I have sourced. I have decided to go for a whole range of different things, from clothing to electricals, to things I might want to use on expeditions. And I'm going to sort of compare them to items that I bought from other retailers in the past, whether from proper bricks and mortar shops, other British online retailers, and even some of the other import companies where you can buy pretty much anything. And I'm just going to go through and get a general sense about the quality, whether it's comparable to stuff I'm getting from abroad, because the prices on this website, on Temu, are pretty staggering sometimes. And that's because they have really simplified the supply chain, which is probably no bad thing. It's highly likely that an item that you may have bought in a shop nearby, or maybe on an online retailer in your country, was originally sourced from this same place. And so it makes sense perhaps to cut out the middleman if they are the same items and they feel the same in the hand and they give you the same sort of confidence. So let's get going. I was sent some items, first of all, in a bag, branded Temu. My guess, and I don't know whether this packaging is representative of whether you make a normal order, because of course this is a sort of a partnered video, so I don't know whether I get slightly different treatment, better or worse than you would get if you were getting a normal delivery. Also, a larger item that I got delivered here came in a cardboard box, which seems appropriate. Okay, so I'm just going to go through things. They're not in any particular order, they're not grouped in particular categories, but I'm just going to go through and show you what I've received, how they've been packaged, and my general responses and my feeling about whether this is a service I will continue to use in future. Let's get going. Right, so it's all packed together. Most things are subdivided by plastic bags. There is a lot of plastic packaging, which, if you look at other online retailers, some of them are making big moves to try and minimize that. So I would enjoy less plastic. Don't fear, I will show you all the details in a second. I really wanted to give you guys a lot of choice when you click the link and have a look for yourselves. I didn't want to just get, for my allowance, sort of 1 or 2 items. I really have gone for a lot of generally smaller items here. There's always one more thing hiding in the corner. That really is everything. Right, you stay there. Okay, I'm going to shuffle over here so I can go through them, and I think we'll have a rubbish pile over there because, yeah, there is quite a lot of plastic packaging. You can't really blame them for that, but it's just how things are, I suppose. I've half forgotten what I ordered, so this is a bit of a surprise to me. I can't remember what these are. What a start. Velcro handles of some sort. Is this for, I don't think this is for training. I think it's for probably carrying things. Alex in the voiceover description will explain what these are. Voiceover Alex here. Yes, they are exactly what you thought they are. They are straps that you can hang things up with or carry them around with. What do you think they were? Porcupines? But they seem exactly what you'd expect. It's polyester webbing with a molded plastic handle. So honestly, you can't really complain about that. If indeed you do want a Velcro thing with a handle. That was not a good start. Anyway, next. These are a load of dry bags. And I got them from different types and different manufacturers. They were not all the same. This one is a 30 litre, I think. Seems a bit, no, that's about 30 litres, isn't it? Comes with a strap. The thing I was most interested to see is actually what it's made from. I'm hoping somewhere there'll be a label. So it's rubberized. It's rubberized fabric. The seams appear to be heat welded, which is good. All the stitching looks like it's of the same quality you would expect from anything else of this type, properly cross-stitched. And this is possibly where you'll start to get a little bit of a difference from items that are sold specifically for, in this case, British retail. You'll normally get more in terms of a label. Can't see one. So I'd like to know whether this is made of nylon or polyester or... No, it just says black 30 litres. It does say, to avoid danger of suffocation, keep this plastic bag away from babies. And it's got some safety stuff. Surprisingly, it says made in China. Right, I'm going to put my rubbish down here. Yeah, so I don't know what this is made of. So at the moment, this would not pass muster for going on an expedition of any sort, because I don't know how it would deal with the cold. Different plastics behave in the cold in different ways. Okay, that can go there. Let's try one of these smaller dry bags and see if there's anything different here. Very similar sort of build quality, good build quality, yeah, heat welded. No obvious problems, but again, I do not know what this is made from. You'd have to put it in a cold freezer and then give it a bit of a wiggle to find out what that's made from. Really don't feel that you need a plastic bag for this. It's a silicone blade for essentially scraping things away, clearing away condensation, all sorts of different things. It's designed as a care card product for getting rid of, I suppose, frost or water from a glass or a bodywork surface. But you could use this for safely scraping all sorts of different things. That's silicone, I like that. Never seen one of these before. So what you do find sometimes on these weird and wonderful websites is stuff that you just never even knew existed before, which I found quite fun when I was browsing through. Anyhow, that's good. Happy with that. And this is definitely silicone. There's a very specific feel to silicone. Don't read into that too much. Right, next one. Little cardboard box, which has been rather haphazardly sellotaped shut. There is some power rating information on the outside, so I'll be keeping this box because that, I think, is going to be my only documentation. Some terminals, copper terminals, and some screws. And this is a DC power isolator switch. Oh, I know, I was wrong. There is actually a little set of instructions with all the specs, voltage levels, current ratings, good. And a wiring set of instructions. You can't ask for more than that. Now I have a number of these anyhow, which I've used on the boat, and I have had therefore a good feel about what the build quality should look like, and so I know what to compare this to when I bought these things from much more expensive sources. I mean, they're not very complicated. Large nuts on, everything seems secure, nothing wiggles. That feels no different to any action I've felt in one that's been bought for probably 3 or 4 times the price before. I see no evidence as to why that would not be a reasonable isolator switch. Some of the moulding is a little bit sort of not haphazard, but just not particularly pretty. But the important things appear to be in place with that. Let me move that over there. We'll move to the next one. This is a 316 stainless steel, or at least it should be. Let me double check. It should be. When I was ordering it, I remember it being 316 stainless. I will actually test that by giving it some salt water and see how it behaves. This is a simple vent, a metal vent, which I think I might find useful when I'm doing the ventilation on my new project, which I will be announcing in not too long. Okay, good. Another plastic bag. Some more electronics here. This is exactly as you would expect it packaged from any UK retailer, any kind of online retailer. Some cables of exactly the quality that I've seen from companies I've bought from before. And then this is, it says 5.6 to 32 volts. It's a wide voltage input and then output at 36 watts. I know it's not very helpful, but presumably because the outputs are USB, we know that's 5 volts. Good. It's got a CE mark, which is required for sale in the European Union. I assume that's genuine. Nice rubber cap. I see no particular problem with that. That is, I think, exactly what you would get if you bought it from a quote-unquote normal shop. Maybe just repackaged. Next we have silicon self-amalgamating tape. I use this all the time. So this is the sort of tape that you use to either seal things or just tape things shut without using an adhesive. It's great, doesn't leave any residue behind. Let me just have a look at this one. I bought it in white as well, so I won't unpack those for no reason. But this black roll here, let me just make sure it's as you'd expect. Yep, you've got the film over the top. Yep, that's exactly what I expected. This is silicon fusing tape or self-amalgamating tape. It's good stuff. Good, no rubbish there. Oh yeah, what was in this bit that was hiding in the bag earlier? Oh yes, I saw this, and again, I never knew that these existed. This is a dust cover for when you are drilling things, because when you're drilling with a normal impact drill, obviously fiberglass, carbon fiber, wood, metal, whatever it is, splays everywhere, and it can make a real mess if you're doing it in enclosed spaces. This cap goes over the end of your drill, and it basically catches all of the schwarf. I know people get really annoyed when I pronounce it that way. And the little bits and bobs. So I don't know if it works. I'll find out, but this appears to be branded and exactly what I expected. Oh, these are cable tidies. I've had some smaller one of these before, and I fancied some larger ones for more elaborate cabling. They are literally little self-adhesive clips which just keep cables tidy when they're running along the inside of, I don't know, a storage unit or the side of a vehicle or whatever. Yep, a whole bag full of those, and very cheap. Happy with that. I'm going to keep those in the bag, unsurprisingly. Next we have some more electrics. What's this? Rated voltage, 100 volts. That sounds exciting. Probably won't need that many volts. I do most things at either 12, 24 or 48. You can tell it's a few weeks since I placed all these orders. Oh, it's a voltmeter, and it goes up to 100 volts. I like that. So it's a nice little voltmeter. You can just about see the LED screen through it, but that will obviously only work when it's on. Comes with the cable, looks perfectly functional to me. Good. We have success. So far, everything is as I would expect it from any other retailer. It's just cheaper. All it says is it's stainless steel, so it's keeping me in suspense. You can tell I've definitely forgotten half of what I ordered. Cobalt drill bits. Now, I won't test these straight away. But they look like drill bits, and they have the same sort of sheen on that most cobalt coated ones do. So Whether that cuts through stainless steel quickly or not, I do not know yet, but they are properly packaged, no problem at all, happy with those. But lots of plastic packaging, no need, really isn't any need, no one's going to get injured. Right. A lot of these boxes, they look like maybe someone's been in them before. They don't look, I mean, it's not sort of bashed to hell, but it's, yeah. This is a fuse box with LED indications. It's got a whole load of little labels you can put on them. I think this was like a 12 output little fuse box. Looks solidly put together. Some marks on the back. Is this a return? There's no obvious signs of use, but it doesn't look absolutely pristine, I have to admit, but that says it's a fuse box. I'm not particularly obsessed about the cosmetic appearance. This actually feels really nice. I've had some before which have cost me a lot more, and they do not feel as solid as this. Nothing wiggles, good crosshead screws on it. I like that. I will use that. And this clips on. Yeah, that was a good buy. Can't remember how much that cost, but that's a good purchase. That's going to go back in its box. That's its reward for doing a good job. Oh, this is for training. So we've got one plastic bag, which you can actually reuse. This is one of the ones with a little slider on top. So that's not massively wasteful. But then there's another one with another slider on top. So 2 free, quite useful bags, fine. These are running base layers, which I wear underneath my white running shorts. They don't feel premium. I've got some really nice ones of these from a brand which I won't mention because I'm not allowed to, but I mean the stitching looks fine and stuff. They just don't feel quite as smart as the high-end ones I've got. We'll see how those do. We'll see how they wash over time. I suspect they'll be okay. Yeah, this box isn't in very good nick. It says it's a heavy-duty battery isolation switch. Battery spelt wrong. This is one of the removable key ones, rather like the one I put on Allenson III's battery box. So that key goes in there, and then yeah. So that's on, and then you can take that away so that no one can accidentally turn on your device. Feels solid. Plastic key, that's fine. Bolts appear to be solid, no wiggling. All the molding looks professionally done. Nice rubber cap over the end. Yep, I can't see any reason why this would be any different to a quote-unquote premium one. There's no marking on it which claims it's got any form of particular safety standard attached to it, but I see no particular reason to be concerned about that. Any documentation? A very basic circuit diagram, nothing to do with safety. And they can't spell the word battery. Slight question mark over that one, but nothing too disastrous. Let's put that with the other isolator switch. Don't need that. Okay. I don't think we're even halfway. Stick around, people, this is exciting stuff. These are some single pole switches, and I bet you these are identical, literally identical to the ones I bought for Alan beforehand. Yep, simple on-off tags. Yep, little switches, little screws. These are identical to ones I bought before, and I think nearly half the price, so good job. Normally if you buy things in bulk, you get them cheaper anyway. Fine, another plastic bag within a bag. I'll stop complaining about that now. That's the same LED voltage meter as the other one. I think I got one in red and one in blue. So there's no point looking at that one again. I wanted yet more incredibly cheap wooden handled brushes, normally for laminates work when you don't want to use really high quality brushes. And these were insanely cheap. I think there's 20 brushes in there. Yeah, very cheap, single use. They're brushes, fine. You might want to give them a bit of a yank to begin with to make sure that loose hairs don't come out. Yeah, one just came out. Yeah, you wouldn't expect anything better than that from absolutely bargain basement price brushes. Okay, we have another slightly bashed looking cardboard box. They do pack everything quite tight, so if this was just being sent to you in the post, I'd be slightly concerned about it getting bash. And this was just in that orange bag, so there was no real padding around things. But I suppose if it arrives in one piece, it arrives in one piece. These are some bus bars. Now I've got some very, very expensive bus bars that I used on Allen, so I wanted to compare the general feel for these ones. Obviously there's a negative and a positive. This is the negative one, so it's black. So it's just large bolts set into a metal bar. That is what a bus bar is, and a nice plastic cover, which the other one actually did not come with. My expensive one did not come with one of these. All the screws are slightly different heights. The two outer ones are the tallest ones. I think that's on purpose, but actually the ones in the middle, they're not all the same height, which I don't think will matter. There are no washers, and there were some spring washers that came with the other bus bars I had, but I don't really like those sorts of washers anyway, so you'd probably want to add your own. Reasonably well molded plastic base. Bus bars are not high tech, they are just a piece of metal where electric excitement is passed from one to the other and distributed. I see no reason why that's going to explode on you. Nope, fine. Not as pretty as an expensive one, but functional. I can go back in there. I think I know what these are. I think these are for my workshop. These are tool holders for the wall. I'll take the orange one out, of course, they're all color coded. Yeah, they are, oh, they're movable, that's quite cool. So the little holdy things, the little grips, which you'd slot your chisels or your files or whatever in between them, and then there's a screw hole at each end. Again, I've never seen these before. I've not seen these in sort of hardware stores for sale, so I don't really know that they existed, but for the price, again, very good. They seem very secure. There's a really good pinch between each one, so I don't think your files and your chisels are going to go flying. Very good. Recommend those. Good. Right, we're down to the last half dozen or so, not including the contents of this box, which was the largest thing I ordered. Anyhow, let's do these. I bought some cheap running sunglasses, and by cheap I really mean cheap. I think these were like a couple of quid each or something. So they won't be polarized or anything exciting like that, but when I go running, I get sweaty and stuff. You want to have some basic training sunglasses, and I think I bought a set of 3. Again, look, all this plastic, we don't need all this plastic. Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about plastic. And you can't reuse that. There's no rubber nose things. Fit nicely, they look clear. Yeah, I think for basic running glasses, these will be just fine. Yeah, they're not as comfortable as expensive ones where you get nice rubber nose pads, but they look fine, and a little ventilation port along the top, which I presume stops them fogging up. These ones are like reflective mirror finish, which are a bit sort of snazzier looking with red arms. Cool, they're fine. I see no reason as to why I'm going to be upset with those. And for the price, honestly, you can have a set here, a set there, and if you break them or lose them, big deal. It's not very easy to get them back in again. Right, I'll stop whinging. Right, another little cardboard box, and in here we have, this is a different sort of USB charger from, again, a circular shape socket that you have either in a car or in a boat or some kind of a vehicle. Yeah, we got some terminals and some wires. Again, perfectly solid build quality, the CE mark again, and this one gives you 2 quick charge USB 3 connectors and then a USB-C one in the middle. And I think there's an on-off switch as well, which turns the light on and off. I think they're LED backlit. So again, that's a perfectly functional USB power outlet. Let me just check what input voltage that is, because I'm planning to move most of my systems up to a higher DC voltage in the future, and I think I was quite keen to make sure. That's all in German. That's in English. It's just how to install it. I mean, you drill a hole and you stick it in. No, there's no specs on there. I'll have to double check online what I bought. and there's no indication on there what input voltage you're allowed. That's annoying, because if I couldn't, for whatever reason, check that online, I would not know what the highest voltage input you're allowed for that. So negative points for that one. What is this? This is a solar charge controller. Now, I was really surprised by this, or not so much surprised, confused, because on the, oh yeah, this doesn't feel great. It's a PWM solar charge controller. You can buy very expensive ones in blue boxes from the company that I've talked about the entire time, and won't need to mention again. Yeah, this is a very cheap electronic unit. Don't know if it works, but weirdly on the advert it gave you the option, apparently in the same unit, to have one that's either like 10 amps, 15 amps, or like all the way up to like 90 or 100 amps. That's a lot of amps, and I don't know if I would want 90 amps at 12 volts passing through this. What do you think? There's no documentation at all either. It just says 12 volts, 24 volts, auto, 90 amps. 90 amps going through this. I don't know. I don't know. I can't prove it's a bad idea yet. Anyway, you can go back in the box. Some more training running stuff. I needed some more ankle socks because I tend to run in ankle socks, and they're all separate. They don't come in, they're not sort of connected in pairs. I think they're supposed to be 100% cotton. 95% cotton, 5% polyester, that's fine. They'll last a bit longer, but they won't get all horrible and smelly. Wash at 30 degrees. There's washing instructions, which says don't do anything, basically. Big crosses through everything, which is, I presume, just covering their own behinds. They're not the most padded ones I've ever come across, but I don't think they were marketed as winter ones. They seem fine. Stitching looks all right. Yeah, I'm sure they'll do the job. Just basic summer running socks. We're nearly there. A couple more items. What's in this? This one's actually sealed, and it tells me all about energy. It is an LED flashlight. Wow. I ordered a trio, clearly, of, small headlamps. It's not like I have enough headlamps. USB cable, fine. Oh, I quite like this. Fully rubberized with, I think these are cob LED strips, which will give you like a nice continuous set. This won't be empty because you can't ship empty lithium batteries, so it should turn on. Yep, nice waterproof buttons. It's just on and off, I think. No, I know. Oh, there's light there as well. There we go. Oh no, that was the... There we are. Feels almost weightless. This for going under a vehicle or going to a cupboard or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily go on an expedition with this on my head, but yeah. Little LED indication of whether it's on or not. I suppose you'll get a low battery warning as well. Fine. And for the price, I think we have a winner. Came in a pack of 3, so you can share it with all your friends and family and everyone who is currently lacking a very lightweight headlamp. Only you can tell me whether that's you or not. This is a power bank. Quite a chunky one as far as I remember. Feels pretty much as you expect. It claims to be 20,000 milliamp hours, which is very large. Rated capacity 11,000, capacity 20,000, which presumably means that if you did drop it all the way down and really emptied it, obviously all the cells would die. Don't know in practice what they really mean by that. Anyway, output 2 amps, so it's not crazy fast, but it's fast-ish. You press the button, then it tells you whether you've got 25, 50, 75 or 100% capacity. This was a very cheap and cheerful one. It doesn't have like a really complicated LED screen. It's just they illuminate the 4 levels of charge, which they could have probably done easier just with a little LED light. Type-C output and then 2 normal USB outputs. Yeah, I mean, it's a plastic case with a load of, I presume, 18650 lithium batteries inside, which is pretty much what every power bank has. Yep, looks fine. It's not about to fall apart on me. There are 2 more things which I completely forgot about, or they just fell down the side of things in my other bag. I wish I had these, and now that I know that they exist, I don't know why I didn't invent them before. When you're trying to use silicone sealant, mastic, adhesive tubes, and you want to save it for the next day without it drying out at the end, I normally just put a load of tape around the end, and it's a pain because you have to do it every single time. But these are little silicone caps that pull over. Oh, they're sort of dusted with talc or some kind of powder to stop them going weird. You would just pull this over the end of your silicone sealant tube. So yeah, I think we have a winner. They look like little hats. I won't use any more analogies for what those look like. This is another power bank. This is the final item before we go into the big box. And it's sealed, so at least I know this isn't a return. Any specs on the outside I should know about? Yes, I'll keep that just so I know what the specs are. I wish they would put the specs on the box. So it's, the batteries are not 18650s, these are 126280s. Is that a thing? I don't know. 3.85 volts, which I guess is normal for lithium ion. 10,000 milliamp hours, so this is a smaller capacity than the other one, but this one is, this one is contactless. It uses magic to charge your phone. And it just means you don't have to have a cable coming out of it and going into your phone, which I find a bit annoying sometimes. That feels really nicely made. I've left this till last, and little lights come on to tell me it's alive. There's the charging port. It's got a really nice feel. This is a premium product. I can't describe it in any other way. I wouldn't be surprised if people were selling these for sort of 40, 50 quid in UK retail stores. And I can't remember how much I paid for it or how much the official Temu price is, but yeah, this is a winner. You're all going to be ridiculously excited to see what's in the large box. This is the only large item I decided to buy. This is for the workshop. It is an organizer for tools and for small things. So you end up with loads of little buckets and little trays, which I suppose you can configure in any way that you wish. They look like bits of molded plastic and exactly as you'd expect. I think is that the base? And I have to work out how this all goes together. That's one of the, this comes out perpendicular, works like that. So then you can put tools down these holes, smaller tools in the smaller holes, hang things off here, and you'll be able to store an entire workshop's worth of tools on this without having to pay crazy money to a premium brand to also give you a load of molded plastic. On that extreme excitement, look at me staring at bits of plastic that I've just taken out of a box. I hope you found that mildly interesting. All of the details about how you can benefit from this amazing collaboration will be in the description, along with the code again, which I will put up there once again. And you can click that, you can download the Temu app, and you can get ordering, which is, as I was summarizing at the beginning, simply a way of cutting out the middleman when it comes to importing mostly Far East Chinese-made goods, which when they are brought into the UK, they're normally simply repackaged, given a new label or something, and then the price quadrupled. So if you are happy with sourcing things from that sort of supply chain, I think you could do an awful lot worse than using them. That's how I feel. We'll do the political and philosophical debate on that another time. Bye.